Hey guys, so I had my first real sort of audition experience over the weekend, so I thought I'd talk about that. Let's start off with my drama experience. When I was very young, I think when I was like really young, I was a bit of a show-off and performing was kind of a thing for me. But then it's sort of in the middle of primary school and then especially puberty in high school, I became incredibly shy. And so in some ways I guess I've gone backwards. But no, yeah, when I was really young, I liked the idea of being on stage acting, that kind of thing, but then I went through my huge insecurity phase. But even with that, I still had this sort of interest in performance and acting. So in year 9, I did a subject called drama and film, freaking terrifying, and I probably got really into more of the film side of things, which may explain why I ended up coming to YouTube. But yeah, no, the tech side of that was okay, but I was really very timid as a performer. But I still had that sort of interest. So in year 11, I took the drama subject, like this is proper drama now, and that was difficult as well, but it was incredibly interesting learning about Stanislavski's theories of acting, which is I think where you try and experience things to do with your character. So for example, if you're supposed to act sad, you would actually try to remember something sad that happened to you, and that would hopefully stimulate your body to, I don't know, maybe cry or just do all those kinds of things and make it convincing that way, which is the only real acting theory I learned. I mean, I'm sort of vaguely aware of method acting, and then I think there's like a British way that's different again. Yeah, no, I found the theory of drama very interesting, but because I was so shy, I found it really difficult to play characters and project my voice, and just, yeah, it used to be really difficult. I was good at the movement side of things. I've always been reasonably good at picking up on movement, so like dance type stuff, taekwondo, and just, you know, when people tell me to move in a particular way, that's fairly easy, but it was the sort of speaking and yeah, and like, you know, trying to do accents, I couldn't do that back then. I couldn't even attempt it really. It was just like, I felt so awkward. Yeah, and I guess like earlier in high school, you know, in English, I think they get you to do a bit of drama. That was always freaking terrifying. But yeah, no, I did proper drama in year 11, and then my drama teacher wanted me to continue to the HSC, which in Australia, well, in New South Wales, is like the final exams before you leave school. But I didn't do it because what I wanted to do video. I realized that I wasn't going to be any good as an actor, but I could maybe do a video production, which was acceptable as a major work, but I wanted to do a music video, which wasn't okay because it had to be more of the drama kind of thing. Whereas my teacher, he was probably the first guy who realized I was any good at writing, so he wanted me to do reviews, like, you know, go to theatre performances and write reviews about them. But I think I didn't realize I was good at writing at the time because my English was kind of bad, because HSC English, at least back then, was ridiculous. I think it still is. It just, like, it doesn't make any sense and it's not relevant to anything. But yeah, no, he wanted me to do that, and I was kind of just like, yeah, no, and I'm not going to do well in this. So that's where my drama kind of ended for a bit, until I did like one performance art thing the first time I went to art school in 2008, but then I actually did drama subjects again in the Australian Institute of Music. When I first started studying music, one of the electives I took would have been some kind of like music theatre type thing, or maybe it was just theatre, drama and theatre, I don't know, something like that. So I got 2 semesters, I think, of trying again to do a bit more drama, but it was hard to let go and do all that. But I did enjoy it, and I did make some progress, I suppose. But then since then, kind of haven't done any drama. I've just been focusing on the music, working on my voice, learning to perform on stage and not be so timid, and all that kind of stuff. So that's about as far as I've gone in terms of, you know, acting and getting out there. And I guess talking to the camera has helped me sort of come out a little bit. But this is the first time I've actually done a proper audition for acting type stuff. So introduction out of the way, sorry it takes so long. I was auditioning for a Halloween kind of job, and so, I mean, I don't know exactly, they've got so many different roles, but some of it is like you scare people, or some of it is like being in one of those Halloween mazes and scaring people there rather than outside roaming around. So yeah, it was really interesting and very terrifying for me, because I I've been to music auditions, but that's different because usually like you've rehearsed a song and then, you know, you might try and improvise and, you know, try and get to know the people. It's been a long time since I've done a music audition though. But yeah, no, so very different for me. And I wasn't sure what to expect, but they said you don't need to prepare anything, just come in comfy clothes, bring water bottle, and be prepared to play. So, what did we do first? We had to fill out forms, get a little number sticker so they could identify us more easily, and then get us into a semicircle where we introduce ourselves. You know, name something about you and why you want to be in the Halloween thing. And that was interesting because some of them are like full-on actors, which is intimidating as hell, auditioning for something alongside real actors. But no, everyone's pretty friendly. There's some people who are like studying acting, some people who are just doing it for fun, sort of like me, you know, don't really know much about acting at all. Yeah, and some people I think weren't necessarily keen on the Halloween theme, but they just love performing. But then there were other people, and this is what I think made me feel good that day, is there were people who were admitting like, yeah, I wanted the excuse to do the socially less acceptable stuff, like that's the great thing about Halloween, it's okay to go around scaring kids and whatever. And yeah, no, just with all the stuff that's been going through in my head lately, it's just nice to hear someone else say that that's a thing they think about openly in a group. There was more than 30 of us. And then 3 people assessing us. So there's quite a lot of people there, but it was just nice to have some other people openly admit that. Yeah, with my introduction, I just mentioned, you know, like I'm heavy metal vocalist, specialize in growls and stuff, and I like the dark, creepy themes. I didn't really want to say that I'm here to, you know, express the psycho half of me. But, yeah, so we went through that, and then I think, what was the next thing we did? They, like, start moving around the room, and then, like, you say hi to people as they pass by, and then it was, like, pretend to be an animal. And this is where I fucked up, right? Just think of any random animal and pretend to be that. I made the mistake of choosing to be a lizard. And you know how lizards move, right? Lizard legs are out to the side, so I'm trying to crawl around the room with my legs out to the side. It was a lot of fun for the first 20 seconds, until my legs started screaming, going, hey, you know how you're heaps unfit, and, you know, yeah, no, this is a bad position, but because I'm trying to do the thing, I had to keep pretending to be a lizard. And this was on Saturday, today I'm filming this on Monday. This fucking hurts still, especially, like, the left thigh, oh my god, like just touching it like that, I can feel pain. The pain of exercise. So when someone tells you pretend to be an animal, do not choose lizard. Choose something, I mean, even a dog would have been better, because at least they're configured more like a human, but it's still like our leg lengths are not quite right. So what you want to choose, when someone says be an animal, choose something like a fucking bird, so then you can just stand up and be like, hey. And you wouldn't even need to flap, because birds kind of just walk around like, or I don't know, be a fucking raptor, you know, dinosaurs and stuff, something two-legged, so that you don't die from how unfit you are. So that's my advice if you're ever at one of those things, these kinds of auditions where you have to improvise stuff. But it reminded me a lot of past drama classes at high school where, like, you know, they'd get you to do weird exercises like that. Then moving on from the crawling around like a lizard, they're like, oh, start making a noise that kind of goes with your animal. And I'm like, what sound does a freaking lizard make? Because I was thinking of the tiny lizards. I think they're actually skinks. I don't freaking know. I'm not a lizard person. So they don't really make noise. I know like bigger lizards maybe, what sound does a Komodo dragon make though? I don't know what sound they make. Yeah, that was difficult trying to come up with a sound. And then they want you to like make it more humanoid. So then I was like, finally I can stop crawling around dying. Yeah, so stood up and I could already feel my legs going, oh my God, what have you done? So then you're trying to walk around like a human lizard and I'm like, okay, well I guess I've still got to be like that kind of movement, but it's kind of hard to do it when you're standing up, and yeah. And then I think with, after a bit of that, you know, roaming around as humanoid animal creatures making strange noises, then they got us into 2 lines, and we had to there's the 3 people in the panel. We had to run up in pairs, sort of as our animal or whatever, or you could adjust it, but run up to them and then make whatever your noise was. So I just did my death growls because that was what I said. Here's my skill. My skill is death growling. So I'm like, oh, and that was my thing. Yeah. Okay. Then the next thing they got us to do is still in our 2 lines. We're on opposite sides of the room. It was a pretty big room. And you're facing someone on the other side who is your partner. Oh, I think there was more stuff actually. No. So actually, you're in the middle in pairs, and you've got to try and like take turns to try and make the other person laugh, and so you've just to stand there and not laugh. Which I think when I'm just standing there, I tend to look like I'm smiling. So the girl I was partnered with kept mentioning that I looked like I was smiling, like I was about to laugh, but I think that's just how my face is. But no, I didn't laugh, and then I couldn't get her to laugh. So that was a really weird exercise. It's super awkward trying to make someone laugh because I was like, I don't know, I'm not a comedian, I don't know what's funny. I guess sometimes I do funny things, but when you're trying to do that to someone who's intentionally trying not to laugh and not react and whatever, I mean, you don't even know if they're even paying attention. They could just be drifting off wherever. Yeah, I was just like, I don't fucking know, so I was just making a fool of myself, hey. And then it was like shift 1, so you change partners, and I ended up with Asian hip-hop dude. His one girl was like, oh, there's only one Asian here, and I'm like, yeah, well, actually, I'm half Asian, so I kind of count, but anyway, let's not talk about that. But no, I ended up with Asian hip-hop dude, and so we're now we're on the opposite sides of the room, facing each other. And the exercise is, first you walk up to the other person, and you get as close as you can without touching. And then go back, and then they do the same thing to you. And then after that, you do it at a jogging pace, and then after that, you do it at a running pace, and then after that, you do your animal character, whatever thing, and make your noise or say whatever line it is. Some people had lines and so on. So I just screamed in this hip-hop guy's face, and he was like, oh my god, I got a reaction, so I was happy with that. And then he did a monkey back coming at me. So I think that's that. I think that's all we did in terms of those things, the improvising stuff. And then we had to do some cold reading, and I was like, fucking shit, it's been so long since I've read a script and tried to play just a random character. But I got the perfect character. So at this Halloween thing, they're going to have, I think, 3 main mazes, and then there's other stuff going on around about that, but there's 3 mazes. One is one they've done previously, which is like a nurse, you know, deranged nurse kind of theme. Another one is like a sort of Aussie outlaw pub, and I mean, me as a creepy nurse, I don't think I could do that. Yeah, I don't know, I haven't really got the hang of the deranged laugh, and for me, in terms of the way I experience my own darkness, it's not that type of deranged. So yeah, I'm glad I didn't get that one. That was interesting watching the guys do that, because the girl would be the nurse and had all the lines, whereas the guys just like pretending to, you know, have hands tied together and like sort of making like, you know, twitching and whatever, and just groaning every now and then. There wasn't really a whole lot for them to do. The Aussie outlaw pub one was better for the guys, because they had that, like, there was the girl played like a sort of damsel in distress trying to escape, whereas the guy was like the bandit and being like, you know, throwing her around and all that kind of stuff. But no, our last one, the one I got, they've got a yokai museum, which is like Japanese spirits, ghosts. Yokai aren't necessarily evil, but you know, some of the older ones definitely have a creepier vibe, and I think those are the ones they're going to be focusing on. But yeah, yokai. So they basically asked me, and this is individuals, this isn't in pairs, so that helps too, because I don't really want to, it's hard, I don't know. But they basically picked the perfect one for me. I don't even know, I think they just did this at random, but so I really lucked out there. And you're basically the person welcoming people to the yokai museum, and you're sort of, I got the impression of a sort of more aristocratic ghost rather than the creepy Japanese teenager ghost kind of thing. so yeah, my interpretation is probably different to some of the others. Also, I was the only one with any clue about how to pronounce Japanese and so on. But yeah, no, point being, they wanted me to be basically a passionless Japanese creepy lady, which is kind of what I am. I mean, I know I'm more expressive these days, but I can be quite empty. So I'm like, well, I just conjure that up, the emptiness and the darkness and so on. Get my hair a bit more out the front, more like it's not black enough, but you get the idea with the sort of creepy. Yeah, I probably didn't do that much because I still had to be able to read the script, but you know, you get the idea. And apart from the other girls all being heaps white and not knowing Japanese, their interpretation was very much more the creepy Japanese teenager, the high-pitched girly voice, welcome to yokai kind of thing. I don't even remember how they did the thing, but you know, basically high voices. One of them was kind of an airy voice, like the creepy Japanese ghost thing. But for me, I don't know how I know this. I must have picked it up subconsciously growing up half Japanese, but with the character that they described on the sheet, to me it seemed like one of those Japanese ghosts that uses a low female voice. So that's what I used, and I think I was the only one playing that role who used the low Japanese voice. And I'm the only one who knows how to pronounce irashaimase, which is like the welcoming thing. You know when you go to a sushi store, like, you know, the Simpsons episode, and they're like, irashaimase! Yeah, that. So I had fun with that. Yeah, and I think I did pretty well. And then me knowing Japanese, when they were handing out the scripts, the head lady was like, oh, don't worry if you can't pronounce the Japanese. And I'm like, dude, I'm half Japanese. It's fine. And she's like, oh my God, can I get your help later? So hopefully I will get something. You know, I don't know if I necessarily get that role, but if they can call me up for some Japanese advice, I think that maybe gives me a chance. I might actually get a sort of Halloween acting role. I don't know. But yeah, no, so that was interesting, and I think that's the best I've really sort of just taken on a character and been able to perform it. Like, if you had given me that when I was in high school, I'm not sure how I would have handled that. It would have been, I probably just would have read the script. Some of the girls did seem like they were just reading the script, although the pronunciation sometimes was amusing, like, urishimasu, and I'm like, no, that's not how you say it. But anyway, yeah, no, I've handled it pretty well, I think. I was shaking when I got up, but I was able to sort of get into the character more. Actually, on the bus home, it was hard for me to shake off the character. You know, just I was sort of in dark staring mode, and it took a while before anyone was game enough to sit next to me. So sometimes it shows on my face. Try not to, but yeah, no. Just because we had like 5 minutes to prepare. I think I got extra time because I was like the first person to get a script. So it was just sort of like getting in the zone, and then, you know, you've got to try and shake off the zone. And oh my God, at some point I want to make a video about empathy, because I've been watching a lot of Dexter, and it reminds me of something one of my English teachers told me back in high school, probably my HSC English teacher, I don't know, I don't remember exactly who, but yeah, no, about me and empathy. Empathy is an interesting thing, because for a long time I didn't think I had any, but no, anyway, I feel like the audition went pretty well. Also, funny thing, okay, no, I was also better at being social. So I got there early, and then I'm trying to find the place because they said there'd be signs, but there weren't any signs. I guess I got there too early. But I sort of just walked around for a bit because I was there way too early. And then eventually I spotted a girl who looked like she was asking for directions. So I kind of just followed for a bit, and then I caught up. And then, yeah, I was talking to her. She turns out to be quite young, still in school, going to a performing school. And she seemed a bit anxious because, you know, I think if you're under 18, you can't get a working with children check, but then do you need one if you're under 18? Whereas someone like me, I have a working with children check. I think it lasts 5 years. I got that when I was doing the art school thing last year. So I've still got a good 4 years on it. But yeah, she was all anxious about that and couldn't remember some thing she did and all that. And I'm like, if they're even considering someone like me who has zero experience, this girl would be fine. Like, her acting was fine. Like, she was really good. She was actually the girl that I was trying to make laugh as well. But yeah, no, I talked to a stranger with no real prompting. I just used the excuse of, I hope I'm in the right place too. And then, you know, making human conversation. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. ask her about stuff, and then she asked me about stuff, and that's how communication works, right? And then, you know, when we were getting our forms, I grabbed her a pen as well, because I was like, why not? And so we're sitting together filling out forms. And then, while we're all like filling out forms, getting in queues and all that, and I ran off to the bathroom and came back, I saw one of my friends from, I would have met her in the heavy metal music scene, I think. The only thing is I haven't seen her in years because when I got depressed I stopped going around to a lot of gigs, and yeah, so I just hadn't seen her in ages, only on Facebook. And people's photos, sometimes it's hard to process into a 3D image of what they look like in real life. Like it's very flat when you look at a photograph or even a video, and it's sort of, I mean, at least with video you can kind of see the angles of my face, but with flat photographs it's difficult. And mostly I think she just posts pictures of a t-shirt. She has some really interesting t-shirts, but you don't really see her face so much, so it was like, I think that's my friend, but I don't know. Yay for smartphones though. So I got on the internet and went to Facebook, opened up Messenger and said, hey, are you at the Halloween audition thing? I think that's you, but I'm socially awkward and I'll be heaps embarrassed if I say hi and it's not you. And she was just about to send me basically the same thing. So that was pretty funny. So we're sending the message and looking at each other, we're going across the room, and then yeah, she came over, and I think it felt good to have someone there who was in the same boat as me, not really an actor, just kind of doing it for fun. Yeah, so that was kind of fun. And then we sort of had a little bit of a chat as we were leaving as well. Yeah, other than that, I got a bit of sunlight from, you know, being outdoors waiting for the bus. And that was my first audition experience. So I guess it's a little bit different to maybe other auditions where they might give you a prepared part. I don't know how auditions work anyway. But yeah, no, it was sort of, it was terrifying, but it was kind of fun, and it helped me get a little bit out of my head. I've been too much in my head lately. And then being able to growl at people, and especially that close. Stop ringing! Oh my god, there's this fucking NBN scam that keeps ringing us, and I'm not answering the phone anymore, you know? I like the idea of having a landline, but, all the scammers, it's freaking annoying. And then once we get forced onto NBN, we're not on NBN yet, but once we get forced onto NBN, it's gonna be an internet-based phone anyway, not a copper phone. So then you lose the main benefit of having a copper wire-based phone, because, you know, with the copper wire, right, if the power goes down in the grid, you can still make phone calls, but when you have an internet-based phone, like the NBN style one, apparently that doesn't work when the power goes out. So, you know, then you have to use your mobile anyway. And if the only people who are gonna call are fucking scammers, why have that? Because I've been here all day. I don't know how many times the phone has rang. I tried to turn on to answering machine mode, but clearly it keeps ringing anyway. It doesn't know how to ring silently, so I don't know. I'm gonna turn off answering machine mode, because now instead of just ringing, it also does that boop, boop, boop fucking noise. Wow, way off topic. I don't know, maybe I'll just unplug the damn thing. But it's the same scammer every damn time. Oh, we're gonna cut off your NBN. We're not on NBN, you piece of shit. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I've got a lot of pent-up energy, and, what was I saying before that? Yeah, no, I've been needing an outlet for some of the, craziest stuff in my head. I'm sorry I haven't made many videos. I have been filming some videos, so I filmed another Let's Play, and I've also started filming some more bonsai stuff, but I only got halfway through stuff, so that's gonna take a while. I've got another punk rave thing coming up as well. Yeah, but, you know, I just... and it's been hard to focus on things like making videos and doing Instagram and even just talking to friends, because there's so much stuff going on in my head right now, watching Dexter, and remembering a lot of stuff. It's too complicated to go into, but yeah. Darker things that I'd sort of buried a little bit, and some of the lies I've been telling myself. It's been interesting, and it's sort of my brain. It's been a long time since I've just gone outside, sat in the sun, or not really the sun, but sat outside in the open and just let my brain think about stuff. I used to do that a lot. And then, I don't know, I guess when I got depressed, I ended up on the internet a lot because I didn't know what else to do to fill that emptiness. But now there's so much going on, I sort of just sit there and think for a long time. and all the things going on in there, and all the things that I'm feeling, and all the impulses and so on. Yeah, I'm going through a bit of a psychological thing at the moment, so I'm sorry if I'm a bit erratic or if I withdraw or whatever, because there's a lot to deal with, and I also don't feel like I can just go and blurt things on the YouTubes like I used to, because too many people know me as Destroy America now, and so I guess the part of me that fears social consequence, the defense mechanisms keep popping up, and it's a little bit hard to deal with them sometimes. So yeah, anyway, this video ended up a lot longer, and I sort of went through a lot more things. My history of drama all the way through to this audition. Would I do more auditions? If it's something creepy like Halloween, sure. I don't know if I would do other things, like my friend who was there, she was with an extras agency for a while, but apparently they only got her roles before she paid the fee, and then once she paid, they stopped giving her anything. So it's hard to find good extras agencies, at least in Sydney, you know, who's trustworthy and all that, and who can actually get things done. And then when it comes to things like that, like with extras, you kind of just get given whatever, and you have to go with it. And I'm very picky about what kinds of roles I would play. Creepy Japanese woman, yes. Creepy monster, yes. Relationship-y type stuff, no. And being a small female, that's where I'm more likely to end up. So I don't know that acting is really something I would seriously get into beyond the one-off Halloween type things. I can't really think of many other roles I would willingly go for, and I think that's why music is better for me, because I can define for myself what characters I'm going to play, what I'm going to sing about, how I'm going to use my voice, you know? If I look younger than I am, so if I had to play a younger role than what I am, I would have to lift my voice a little bit, because having a higher pitched voice does make you seem a little bit more young and feminine and all that kind of stuff, and I just don't give a fuck! So yeah, music is the thing for me. Oh, by the way, I finally came up with a playlist. Shit, I'll link it in the description somewhere. I've got a playlist on Spotify now of the different kinds of guitars that I might be happy to have if I started a band from scratch. So I am still looking for a band. And if anyone out there has been wondering, like, oh, she's so picky, like, what does she even want? What demos would I show her? I now have, there's 24 songs where I like the guitars, or at least I think I like the guitars. It was really hard to concentrate on just the guitars. I get distracted by vocals a lot, I think, being a vocalist. And then just human nature, you tend to zoom in on the human voice. But I think the guitars are all right. It's mostly chugging, and then occasionally there's a bit that's, like, more suitable to flowing, clean vocals. Yeah, it's a bit of a mix. I will chuck that in the description somewhere in case anyone wants to check it out. It's also just maybe interesting to listen to if you want to see the kinds of stuff I like. So hard culling things out. But yeah, no, kinds of guitars, because, you know, I probably am going to have to start a band at some point. I just need to find the right guitarist to work with who can write that kind of stuff and work with me to build songs. And who can write enough on their own before I need to get involved, like at least write a verse and then I can, you know, put lyrics over it and then we can think, where does the song need to go to? Yeah, so I did that. That's why I'm so tired today. I stayed up way too late making a Spotify playlist and fucking around with the little silly graphic I put on there. But yeah, if you want to know what kinds of guitar music I'm into. Otherwise, if I still can't find a band, I'll just keep doing the solo thing. But no, I really want guitars, and I can't write them on my own, so... Anyway, music. Yeah, I think music is better as an outlet for me. It's just frustrating that you often have to rely on other people. So when I'm really spinning out, I've been writing more poetry. I'm getting closer and closer to the next book, but yeah... There's a lot going on in this head, and I've got to find ways to get it out without feeling awkward and so on. So, yeah. Anyway, tomorrow I might try and record a review of the Book of Sith, but no guarantees on that. But I really should get onto it so I don't forget. There's so much going on. Anyway, that's all for now. See you guys. Let's have the cards. I'll just sort of disappear for a bit so you can look at, like, other videos to watch and stuff, and my Patreon and subscribe stuff.